Hello, today we're going to be reviewing Naruto. This show is pretty popular, but when I looked on the internet, I couldn't find many reviews on like the anime itself. There were a lot of reviews over the games and then some of the movies, especially this last one that just came out. And so I decided that we needed to do a review over the whole thing so you can kind of get a picture of it as a whole. The anime starts out with your main character Naruto kind of running around town and causing trouble. And then it takes a flashback to 10 years before, where a giant fox is attacking Naruto's village. The Hokage, or leader of the village, comes in and kind of saves the day, and he fights off the giant fox, and in doing that, he also seals the fox inside Naruto. And because of this, Naruto is ostracized by his whole entire community. He has no friends, nobody likes him because of this fox that's inside him, but he doesn't know about this. And his goal is to become the Hokage and become the leader of the village and the strongest ninja, and just to kind of have everybody love him and accept him. Naruto starts out as this immature middle school kid, but thankfully he matures throughout the whole anime. And he really has like a whole bunch of spunk in him, and you just want to cheer for him because he just tries so hard, and sometimes he fails, but he tries. And Kakashi also teaches Naruto alongside two other ninjas. I'm sorry, two other ninjas, which are Sakura and Sasuke. But more about Kakashi. He's kind of like this figure of mystery. He's pretty cool. He has like a mask that like covers his face, and he never takes it off, like, ever. And he's just like the cool guy who people are like, I want to be like him, and he's just awesome. Sasuke he's like moody and vengeful. I mean, he says his goal in life is to kill a certain someone. And then Sakura kind of offsets both Naruto and Sasuke because unlike them, she has had like no suffering in her life at all. And so on one hand, she doesn't really have as much motivation as they do to train and better themselves, but she does eventually get to the point where she's about equal to them, even though it takes a pretty long time. So, speaking of long times, the series is obviously very long, but one thing I really liked about it was that even it had like this continuity that flowed throughout it. Like at the end, all the strings were tied up, and everything flowed together, and they weren't just like, what about this person who just got left in the dust? We never mentioned him. What's going on with that? Like all the little details that had been brought into action in the middle of the story were like still being used at the end, and it just all worked out. One thing I didn't like as much was that they use flashbacks a lot, and there's like a bunch of kind of reused animation cycles, which, realize sometimes you have to do that, but it's almost to the point of too much. The ending was really nice because an ending can like make or break a show, but this one just tied everything up nicely. Obviously, I can't talk about too much because spoilers for those of you who haven't watched this show. If you do, watch it. It's good. Some of Naruto's humor can be a little crude. He's like 12 at the beginning of the show, so I mean, yeah, but then he kind of slowly matures, and that doesn't happen as much, which is good. And blood and gore are kind of kept to a minimum in the first season, but in Shippuden, the second season, more people die, and so the whole thing has kind of like a darker theme about it and stuff. And even though Naruto's humor can be a little crude, there are some like really funny jokes. I don't know, just the show kind of has its own brand of humor. I mean, some of the jokes are like, it's so stupid it's funny, or it's just, I don't know. I laughed out loud multiple points watching this show, and so usually I just, like inward chuckle when I see something funny, but no. The animation is really fun to watch, especially the battle sequences are like really epic. The music for Naruto is really cool because like at first you're listening to it and you're like, oh, it's just like modern music with like little funky twists in there, whatever that is, I don't know. And then you realize halfway through that like it's got all these different Japanese sounds incorporated into it, and it's just like, whoa. It's really cool. It just blends beautifully, and it's just unique. Most of the opening and ending songs are pretty good. I enjoyed them. I mean, I enjoy most things, but there's just so many of them, so you're sure to find something that you will like. And each anime has its own kind of like world view and like its own little kind of lessons that it wants to teach us as we're watching it, and I just kind of enjoy picking those out. They're kind of like themes. And for Naruto, I thought some of its moral lessons would be depend on those around you, decide your own path and stick to it, friends are worth sacrificing everything for, and real life is better than a perfect dream. Obviously, Naruto is like this giant franchise now, and there's like the manga, which, you know, there usually is a manga, like several movies, like plush toys, I don't know, video games, all sorts of stuff going on. The anime follows the manga pretty well, aside from like the fillers. We'll get to that. And the movies are kind of like extended filler arcs, so they're entertaining, but they're not really pertinent to the main plot usually. Fillers are abundant in Naruto, like 40% of the anime is fillers. And some of them are interesting. I would recommend a couple of them just because they're just hilarious. But if you're like, I want to find a list of all the fillers and just not watch those episodes, go ahead and do that. That's what I did for most of the show. So the whole of Naruto is about 600 plus episodes long, including fillers. And so, obviously, if you don't watch fillers, it can cut down a lot. But it can still be done. Many people are probably like, I heard it's good and it's really popular, but it's just so long. I don't want to get into it. And I just want to say to you that my brother, I got him into Naruto, and he finished it in the whole summer, but he didn't really have anything else to do, so he was just watching all day long. Which is, a great way to spend your time. But it can be done, and I would just encourage anybody who hasn't seen the show to go out and watch, like, the first couple episodes, if you have time, the first 20 episodes, just so you can kind of get an idea of what is going on and, like, what this show is about. You can find Naruto on Crunchyroll. The first season, you have to be a premium user to watch it, but the second season is free. Hulu has both seasons on free. You can also find it on the Viz website, and Netflix is streaming some of the first season. And so it's kind of everywhere. And so that's to our advantage. So go out, watch it now. As a whole, I would rate this anime 4.5 shuriken out of 5. Just part of this may be nostalgia. I realize that. But it's funny, it's classic, it's good, it's popular. I mean, it's popular for a reason, right? And so it's kind of a staple of the anime culture. And so this is my first video. Thanks so much for watching, taking like 10 minutes out of your day to watch a review on Naruto, which everybody knows Naruto. But anyway, if you're like, I really like these videos, but I just don't like watching videos, I'd rather read them, that's kind of what I am. We do have a blog. I'll try and post that down in the About section, so you can get the link to there, and then just pretty much the same thing I said, and maybe a couple other details, and a picture, and so just, yeah. Thanks again.